Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Outcasts Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Shelley, and today we are going to be having a very short-handed Outcast Podcast as it will just be myself and Whit Ives. And Whit, we have the Super Bowl coming up on February 5th, and we have a battle between our least favorite combined team and the New England Patriots, and a team that I really don't have a preference over in the Atlanta Falcons.
Sounds about right.
I'm glad Zach's not here, so we don't have to listen to a Patriots fan talk about their success. But they were a very successful team overall. They went 14-2 overall.
Which sucks.
First in the AFC East. And in the playoffs, to be honest with you, the NFL playoffs so far has been extremely boring. There's been a lot of blowouts other than
no grand upsets, no freakish. Yeah, it's just kind of playoffs are over.
The only game that was really good was the Green Bay and Dallas game.
Yeah, that one was spectacular. That one had some clutch plays, some Aaron Rodgers showing us why he's better than Tom Brady.
I am not a Patriots fan, but I would have to disagree.
I know.
On that one. I don't know if... I think the rings speak for themselves. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is fantastic, and his ability as a quarterback is, it exceeds that of many other quarterbacks, of course, but not Tom Brady. But another guy we should be talking about in the QB position is Matt Ryan.
Matty Ice. The man.
Not only has Matt Ryan thrown for almost 5,000 passing yards in the regular season, but what he's also done he's taken this Atlanta Falcons team that we saw as a threat for sure in the NFC, but we didn't see them absolutely drubbing the Green Bay Packers, beating them 44-21.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan had almost 400 yards. Maybe not a huge deal against the Packers defense that is kind of awful.
Yeah, their secondary is young, and they don't have a lot of key elite cornerbacks, but there is talent there, and the Packers have found a winning formula when they began to, in Aaron Rodgers' terms, run the table. There's only so much table you can run, and the Falcons really shut them down in every way. I mean, giving up 21 points to Aaron Rodgers in that offense, that's a victory any day.
And what they drop 44?
Yeah, 44.
You can give up 21 points. I mean, when you score 44, it doesn't really matter. 44 is a lot of points. I don't care who's playing or what defense you're going up against. I mean, that was a complete and utter smackdown of the Green Bay Packers.
Which is hard to do. And we saw that in a Cowboys defense that was very good. And I think the Cowboys played well in the game that they lost to the Packers, but
yeah.
I mean, that was the only good game of the playoffs so far. Looking at who the Patriots have beaten, they beat the Dolphins. So congrats on beating
you whoop-de-doo
an awful team. That's good for you. Then they beat the Steelers, who I thought the Steelers were going to put up a fight. Not much bigger than what they did, but I thought they were going to do a little better than they actually did against the Patriots.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a large part of Pittsburgh's essential lack of offensive showing was due to the fact that Le'Veon Bell came out in the first quarter, didn't come back in.
He was doing some weird stuff on the sideline. He was hobbling over there, and he told different reporters that it was his groin and then it was leg, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know much about.
I think the official report now is it was a groin injury.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Williams, a good runner. I mean, a vet.
Yeah.
Past his prime maybe, but still a decent enough runner. Not a bad replacement for Le'Veon Bell by any means. Just couldn't. He doesn't have the same.
Well, he's not Le'Veon Bell.
He's not Le'Veon Bell. He doesn't have the same caliber of running.
And there's only so much left that Big Ben has in the tank. So he was okay in that game. He surely wasn't great. But let's talk about this guy on the Patriots who has really been the talk of sports accounts for a while now. for the past week, a guy named Hogan. What is it? Chris Hogan, I believe is his name.
Yeah. See, I don't even really know his whole name.
Yeah, exactly. Hogan had 13 catches for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Steelers. He played 3 years of college lacrosse at Penn State.
He's a lax bro.
Yeah.
I mean, at Penn State too, like not some like Division III college out in the middle of nowhere. I mean,
Penn State, the big time.
He was a good lacrosse player.
And
then this is my favorite part. Monmouth College. Played 1 year of football there.
He jumps boat from lacrosse and says, "You know what?" And I was doing some reading. I don't know. It was on Wikipedia. It could be completely made up, but I was reading that he was an all-state selection his senior year of football, but he was also an all-state selection for lacrosse. So he went to play lacrosse, and then during his 3rd year at Penn State playing lacrosse, he was like, I kind of miss football. And you're obviously that good of an athlete where you can just jump ship and play football at another D1 college in Monmouth. I think this is the best part of this all that's going to kill you as a Bills fan.
Yeah, I remember this.
He was signed by the 49ers, the Giants, and the Dolphins, but never played in a game. Some of them were just signing a free agent, and then some of them were... I think the Dolphins were the only team that signed him to a practice squad. But then the Buffalo Bills signed him, and he played for them in the 2012 season.
Yeah.
And he had 36 receptions for, about 450 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it was actually seen as a bright spot in an offensive weapon. He actually threw a pass. I remember watching some 2012 footage, actually, of the Bills. Living in New York, Bills footage is everywhere.
It's true. It's not hard to find.
Just type in Bills footage and Buffalo websites will pop up anywhere. But he threw a pass to Tyrod Taylor. They did like a flea flicker type play, and Tyrod got the ball back and handed it off to Hogan, and then Hogan kind of dropped back and threw a pass to Tyrod Taylor. So, I mean, the guy can do anything.
Dual threat.
The guy can do anything, and then after that season, this is what people thought was crazy. Belichick being,
this is what irritates me the most, because Belichick has a penchant for, like, finding some obscure player off of some team.
Yeah, he just finds, like, these small white guys who are ridiculous athletes.
And then he turns them into studs. I mean, like, I don't know. It just bothers me.
Well, yeah, and as a Bills fan,
it bothers me more with Hogan.
Yeah. But the Patriots signed him to a 3-year deal for like $2 million or something crazy like that.
Yeah, like minimum contract.
And now he's out here having 2 touchdowns, a franchise record 275 yards in a game, in an AFC championship game. At halftime, the Patriots were up by like 2 touchdowns or something like that. And I think the Steelers went on a drive right before the half, and they had the ball within the 5-yard, like on the 5-yard line, and they couldn't get a touchdown. And as soon as they kicked the field goal, I was like, you know what, I'm not watching this anymore. The game's over. But I think that it is a testament to the Patriots defense, who actually has been extremely good. We'll see how good they are against Matt Ryan, who has been considered an MVP. I think he's a front runner now in a lot of people's eyes. The only thing about Matt Ryan that's really ugly, if you will, is number 1, his receding hairline. That's pretty ugly. I think we can admit to that. He needs to talk to LeBron on how to get that one back.
At least his forehead isn't like Manning's, though.
Yeah. But Matt Ryan also threw 7 interceptions this year. 7 of the total 11 Atlanta Falcons turnovers this year. But they were one of just 5 teams in the NFL with a turnover margin that was at least plus 10. So this is obviously a concern for Atlanta Falcons and their fans. Another thing about Matt Ryan, I love Super Bowl week because you see this inflation of statistics where you wouldn't normally see it, but now all major sports, websites, bloggers, everybody out there is talking about 2 teams, the Patriots and the Falcons, and they're dissecting each team. And what I found today on ESPN, they were doing like this crazy stats on the Super Bowl, the matchups. Matt Ryan has a 54.3 fourth quarter QBR, and that's ranked 19th in the NFL. And his QBR in the final 2 minutes of the game is 2.2.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's worse than J.T. Parra in the Ohio State Clemson game.
That's just all. Like, that's bad.
Like,
bad, just terrible. If Powers were here, he'd say that Matt Ryan's QBR was only 2.2 better than his this year.
Yeah, he would say something stupid like that, but he's
right. Technically, he's right. That is a true statement.
And then you have the flip side here with Tom Brady, who has a 89 QBR in the 2-minute drill. So I'm not very good at math.
Neither am I. Let's put that out there.
I actually have a math test coming up, and I'm almost positive I'm going to fail it. But I'm going to do a quick calculation here. 89 minus 2.2. The difference between Tom Brady and Matt Ryan QBR in the 2-minute drill is 86.8.
That's a big number.
That is a concern. And if the game comes down to a last-minute drive, we will see if numbers really do matter. Because if Matt Ryan can put together a game-winning drive in under 2 minutes,
oh boy,
that will. Oof, I won't believe it.
I think though there might be a saving grace to this, and that New England Patriots seem to, for the last, as long as I can remember watching them, enjoy. They would prefer Tom Brady to be down with.
Down on Aaron at the footballs?
No. Well, we know he does that. But aside from, deflating things, Brady, I don't think there's an argument to be made that there's anybody better than Tom Brady at captaining a football team with less than 3 minutes to go in a game. And I think the New England Patriots run their game plan in a way that sets up Tom Brady controlling the football in the end of the fourth quarter.
I agree 100% with that. I'd say that Belichick has this mentality. I can just picture Bill Belichick sitting in there in the film room.
With a cutoff sweatshirt.
Okay. Oh, yeah, of course. I bet if he's indoors, he's wearing just a cutoff shirt.
Showing off the guns.
Showing off the guns. I can just see him sitting in a film room and just being like, well, here's our game plan. If we can't beat them outright and, control the entire game and control the football, then we'll just give Tom the ball with less than 3 minutes, and if we're down by 3, we'll win the game.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm just going to say that, you heard it here first. Matt Ryan will not have an opportunity to lead the Atlanta Falcons in a 2-minute drive at the end of the game. It will be the Patriots' ball at the end of the game.
It always is. I've been watching football I haven't really been watching NFL my entire life, but I'll say for the past 5 years I've really focused on the NFL. Every time there's a close game with the Patriots on, it ends in the same way, except for when the Jets beat them a few years ago.
Yeah, or if they play the Giants in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. It always comes down to Tom Brady hooking up with some unknown receiver.
Probably Hogan this year.
Maybe Hogan's cousin a few years down the road.
They'll find somebody.
Some guy who gets them into opposing territory, and Tom Brady does a screen pass and then a quick QB sneak, and they win the football game. It drives me insane, but he is a maestro when it comes to.
And it's like the kind of thing where in an obvious situation where you'd throw a deep shot to try and eat up some field position, suddenly nobody pays attention to the small little guy who goes out wide, and then there's a short screen pass and goes 1 yard past the line of scrimmage, and then he runs for 75 yards.
Maybe that's why Belichick signs these guys, because maybe the defensive linemen and the cornerbacks just can't see over.
He's so small, nobody can see him. maybe we just figured out Belichick.
It'd be like Ant-Man.
Somebody call Atlanta. Somebody get Paul Rudd on the line.
Yeah, Paul Rudd.
Tell him to tell Atlanta that we figured it out. Though I want to say one thing. So I think Matt Ryan is clear-cut MVP right now. Maybe I wouldn't have said this a couple weeks ago, but right now I don't think it should go to anyone else. I mean, he took the Atlanta Falcons with pretty much no defense to the Super Bowl. I mean, so I think there's no doubt in my mind, at least this year. Let's forget about any other year where we've watched Matt Ryan, for some reason, decide to throw 4 interceptions in a game. But let's just look at this year. Right now, he is the best quarterback that could be playing the New England Patriots right now. And
aside from, I won't even say Aaron Rodgers, because after that last game,
I would prefer to watch Aaron Rodgers play New England, but I don't think they'd have. There too many people are gonna. I think I was talking with a buddy of mine, and we just figured out. We decided, we didn't really figure it out. We pretty much came to the conclusion that Green Bay averages 3 injuries a game, and people just seem to drop like flies whenever the Packers play.
Yeah, I agree.
So they're just too hurt. They're too broken. So this is right now the best shot to beat the Patriots.
I feel like that's NFC North football. You turn on the TV, and if it's like
somebody's
a Thursday
on the ground.
Game,
Somebody's on the ground.
Packers, it's like every play.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where if you don't watch the opening kickoff, if you turn the TV on in the middle of the game, you usually come on an injury timeout.
Oh, where's Jordy Nelson? Oh, he's the one being carted off the field.
He's got 3 broken ribs.
Exactly.
That was a missed call by the officials, though. That was head first tackle.
When he got injured?
Yeah. But anyway, as I was going to say, Matt Ryan, phenomenal passing attack for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the New England Patriots had the number 2 run-stopping defense in the NFL, right behind Dallas and not far behind Dallas. The Patriots gave up just over 87 yards a game rushing, okay? But their passing attack was number 14 in the NFL, so middling, right in the middle.
Yeah.
Not good, not bad, just kind of there. They gave up about 240 yards in the air. Now,
well, where are the Falcons on that list?
So, in terms of giving up yards, so let's see. Well, a lot lower than the New England Patriots. But I think, so the thing is, the Falcons' offense is obviously a pass-heavy offense when you got Matt Ryan and Julio Jones connecting all the time for huge yards, lots of touchdowns. So I think the game plan for Atlanta is pretty much going to be attack New England's semi-unproven secondary and trying to jump out to big leads. And you got to make New England come from behind. Now, there's no team better at coming from behind than New England, but that's the only way you're going to beat them, because you can't go into a slugfest with Tom Brady. You can't try to run a 2-minute offense and at the end of the game against the New England Patriots, because all Brady needs is 30 seconds, and suddenly they're in field goal range.
Yeah. Although Gostkowski, their kicker, isn't as good as he used to be. So
he's had a down year.
But that'll probably cause Tom Brady to think that he needs to score a touchdown.
And then he will.
More greater things.
And then he will. So Atlanta's game plan is going to have to be jump out quick on offense with the pass game.
Because it shows in the fourth quarter, Matt Ryan is not the guy you want the football.
No.
And I think that showed in Week 17 when they played Tampa Bay. Now, I know they didn't have everybody playing because they had already secured a position, but they lost by a touchdown. But they had 2 drives in the fourth quarter that they could have easily scored and won the game, but they just looked bad. And I know it's Week 17 and they weren't doing much, but I think that this could potentially be their weakness in this game, because I don't want any team going up against. The only worst thing possible for the Falcons would be if they had a rematch with Green Bay and there was a second left on the clock and Aaron Rodgers could throw a Hail Mary for the win. Then I think your chances of winning at that point are like 25% compared to 75 for the Packers.
Fair enough. What I'm afraid of, though, is that Atlanta's going to decide that they need to open up a run game, and they're going to try.
It's not going to work.
It won't. I mean, the problem is they have to be able to do it in tandem with the rushing and with the passing. I mean, they got to use one to open up the other, but I'm afraid they're going to try to use the run game to open up the pass game. But I'm pretty sure their pass game is going to start pretty open. Nobody can guard Julio Jones.
No,
nobody. Malcolm Butler's going to be on him. Julio Jones will run through the man.
I disagree. When Josh Norman trash talks Odell and says, "I shut you down" and stuff like that, a lot of the shutdown material we see out of cornerbacks in the NFL is not actual great coverage. It's, did I get away with holding him back here? And did I get away with this pass interference call? I'm not denying cornerbacks of their their phrase of shutting people down, because I do believe it happens. When you watch the Seahawks, they shut down receivers.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of cornerbacks, calling people out and saying that I can guard you and I can cover you, you cannot tell me that you can successfully, as a cornerback who is, 3 or 4 inches shorter than Julio Jones and can jump,
half as high. You can't stop. It's like when people tried to guard Calvin Johnson. You could literally throw the ball in the general vicinity, and it would more often than not be a catch.
Matthew Stafford has admitted to the game plan literally was, if you cannot find a way to score, you throw a lob pass to the corner of the end zone to Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, and it worked a lot.
Just reach up there and
it worked a lot. Julio Jones is similar. I mean, I'm not going to say that Julio Jones is as good as Calvin Johnson, because I haven't seen a receiver as good as Calvin Johnson in a while.
Wow, really?
I think Calvin Johnson, he's not underrated. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But, he's insane.
Yeah.
Because you didn't see ugly drops from him either.
No, you didn't.
Like see ugly drops.
Yeah.
Once in a blue moon.
But that happens to everybody.
Yeah. But it was almost a guaranteed catch. Especially on the easy ones.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you watch, like I've seen Odell.
Textbook.
Yeah, he did it textbook. The fundamentals were there. Sometimes you watch Odell Beckham, for all the great catches he can make, sometimes he drops one that's right to his chest.
Well, here's the thing. You watched him in the Green Bay game, and there was a drive that they had. Eli Manning threw 3 straight perfect footballs to the front corner of the end zone for Odell, and then some receiver, I don't know, and then Odell again. And twice Odell went up and had 2 hands on the football and then dropped it.
Yeah.
And Odell's the type of guy that can make the one-handed, oh my gosh, best catch ever. But then you could end up seeing him on, the not top 10 the next week.
Yeah. Calvin Johnson was the type of receiver where if you saw him on the SportsCenter top 10 for a catch, you wouldn't then see him on the not top 10 for a drop.
The Marvin Harrisons too. I remember. I love watching old footage of Peyton to Marvin.
I miss those days. But so then it's like, sorry to bring this up, but when Barkley threw that pass into the end zone for Chicago, and was it Jeffrey?
No, it wasn't Jeffrey. It was.
You know what I'm talking about. It was just like an easy pass. He just had to stand there and let it come to him.
Yeah.
And it bounces off his chest and falls. It was the game-winning touchdown, and he drops it. So a guy like Calvin Johnson doesn't miss those.
No.
He'll miss the ones that are hard sometimes, but more often than not, he'll catch those. But he catches the easy ones.
Yeah.
Julio Jones, the only reason I'm not putting him in the same category as Calvin Johnson is because sometimes, not as often as, Bears receivers, sometimes Julio Jones will drop the easy one. Yeah. And that has huge ramifications in a game against New England Patriots.
Yeah, because in the New England Patriots, and I'm going to bring this up, the little things matter. The minor details are what are most important, because Bill Belichick thrives on mastering the small things. And I think I am not a pro Belichick. I'm not an anti Belichick. But I can say this: if Bill Belichick is not in the conversation of one of the top 5 NFL coaches of all time, if the New England Patriots win the Super Bowl this year, then I think there's a problem with the way that overall things in the league are being looked at. Because what Bill Belichick has done with Tom Brady, he has created a textbook, and we keep saying this, textbook, but it is a textbook franchise that you know what to expect out of them. Their defense is not absolutely, Hell's Kitchen shut down, but what they are able to do on the offensive end that complements the defensive end and have just good enough defense to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl is something that we have not seen since, I don't even know. I don't remember seeing the last time a dynasty like that has been in the sport world. Maybe.
Well, there was the time when the Buffalo Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls, but they lost all 4.
There you go.
But I see what you're saying, and I'm just gonna come out and say I loathe the Patriots with every single thing I have in me.
Well, we know this.
And fine, fair enough. But you can't argue with what's right in front of you. As much as I try frequently to argue.
It's like me with LeBron James. I despise LeBron James. Everything he does, I look to do or think the exact opposite. But when it comes down to it, and when I see him holding the trophy after beating the Golden State Warriors,
they blew a 3-1 lead, by the way.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know that the Golden State Warriors blew a 3-1 lead, please let us know.
I'll make fun of you.
Yeah, you heard it here first. But when seeing him holding that trophy, I do respect what he has done and what he continues to do for his team. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to hop off the hate train because it's no fun to be a Bulls fan and not hate LeBron.
Jake will never like LeBron James. I don't think he'd like him even if he went to Chicago.
No, I wouldn't. I told my dad this the other day. I would not watch Chicago if LeBron went to Chicago.
Not that all right, well, in the vein of my blog posts, LeBron James will go to the Chicago Bulls.
You said that?
You heard it here first.
I haven't even looked at that.
No, I didn't say it. I'm saying it now.
Oh, okay.
You should read some of the predictions I have this week, though.
Oh, great. Let's wrap things up with predictions here.
My favorite.
Whit, who wins the total yardage battle? Patriots or
Yardage
Falcons?
battle.
We'll break it down even more. We'll do category by category. Passing yards. Who wins?
Okay, Atlanta takes the passing attack. I think that'll be an easy win for Atlanta. I think Atlanta will own the passing game. But I think they'll own the passing game because they won't be able to effectively run the ball the way they want to. So the only offense they'll have is through the air.
Okay. In terms of rushing attack, LeGarrette Blount has 24 attempts for 78 yards and a touchdown this postseason, and Devontae Freeman has 28 for 87 for a touchdown. You're seeing almost identical numbers here. Who do you think wins the rushing game?
It's going to be New England winning the ground game. They're too balanced to not, I think. Purely, overall, best offense, probably no doubt that it's New England because you have Tom Brady. But Atlanta will win the air. New England will win the ground. Yeah, I think that's probably the way it's going to go.
I agree 100%. I don't think that Atlanta is going to blow away the passing totals compared to New England.
I think they might.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the type of game where Brady throws.
You think that the Patriots are going to score quickly and efficiently?
I think they. Well, yes and no. I think what it'll be is. I think what Brady will do is he'll have a lot of shorter passes, so his attempts and completions will be fairly high, but the yardage will be relatively low by comparison. Maybe 280, 290 yards in the air for Tom Brady. I'd go 315, 320 for Matt Ryan.
Yeah, so not much.
Not much difference. No.
But
certainly
again,
won't be a
30
blowout.
yards could make a huge difference.
30 yards could make a huge difference. That's field goal right there.
Yeah. Who wins in the sack total? Who gets to each quarterback more?
New England's going to get to Matt Ryan more than Atlanta will get to Tom Brady.
I think that one was an easy one. I think that kicking could potentially. I always think that kicking could be the difference maker, just because the point after attempt has been moved back.
Oh my goodness!
The amount of times I've seen the Bears kickers miss field goals and miss point afters, it's frustrating. So, in the event of it coming down to a kick, who's better, Atlanta or New England?
I know Gostowski's had a kind of a down year by his standards. I think New England has the edge.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just because of the experience?
I'm going to say experience. I'm Gostowski. And I'll say experience, so I'm not huge on the sole argument for a better player being experienced.
Well, yeah, no.
But it's the Super Bowl, and New England's been there. It's very much a been there, done that type of mentality for New England. And when you have that kind of relaxed attitude, you're going to kick better.
Yeah, the last time that the Falcons made the playoffs was like 2012, I think. Somewhere around there.
Several years ago.
Patriots are in it each year, I swear.
Yeah, New England's got the edge in the kicking game. But it could. I hope I'm wrong. It could. We could have a fluke day from Bryant.
Okay,
for Atlanta.
So now we're gonna do two predictions. We're gonna do one, what we actually think is going to happen, and two, what we want to happen. So I gave my prediction the other night in the Solo Murmur podcast that I recorded. If you haven't listened to that, make sure you give that a listen. We are now on YouTube, which is exciting.
Woo-woo.
And we'd also like to announce that we are on iTunes. I know a lot of people have, contacted me, and some people in my school have been like, well, what exactly does that mean? Basically, what that means is we submitted our podcast for review to iTunes, and they were like, oh, yeah, I guess you guys have enough material here, and it's actually decent enough where we're going to put it on iTunes, available for people to listen. So check out our social media pages. We have Twitter at the Outcasts Pod. We're on SoundCloud. I have a feeling that's going to become a little more obsolete now, but it'll
maybe still, a little bit. It'll still be there. Yeah.
Anyway, make sure you follow us and find out where we are. We are available on multiple platforms. Moving toward the final prediction, I'm going to get back to what I was saying about in the Murmur podcast earlier. I was discussing a little bit of the Super Bowl preview. I was talking mostly NBA, and then I talked some MLB players' deaths. But the Super Bowl, I think that it's going to end up being like 31 or 34 to 17 or 20. Like, I think it's going to be 34 to 21 New England. I feel like I feel like Atlanta's going to score more than that, though. I'll put it at like 34 or like 37-28. That'll be my final. 37-28 New England.
37-28. I legitimately think it's going to be 31-28. I think it'll be a field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? What makes you say that?
Because with New England, it always seems to be a field goal.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Super Bowls that New England's won because it was Vinatieri for a while, popping out a 50-yard game winner.
Yeah.
Or Gostowski, or this year Gostowski's still. I think it'll be 31-28 New England. I think that will be the end result, and it will be because Tom Brady took his team down the field, got him in field goal range with 4 or 5 seconds left, and turned it over to the kicker.
Here's the second prediction. What do you want the final score to be? Realistically, if this was actually
500 to nothing.
Okay, well, we'll drop the realistic 500 to nothing.
What I want to happen is let me clarify this real quick. What I'm afraid is going to happen is that because Atlanta won't be able to open up the run game well enough, it will be all Matt Ryan, and I don't think he'll crumble under the pressure, but he'll make a few too many mistakes, and New England will capitalize on interceptions or 3-and-outs. And those will directly result in points for Belichick's team. I'm afraid that's what's going to happen, and that it will then lead to New England having the ball to close out the game and a game-winning field goal. Yeah. What I want to happen is Matt Ryan to be able to command that passing attack and command the game with his arm and score quickly, efficiently, and not blow out New England, but put themselves up in a game where not even Tom Brady can score that many points and bring his team back. So I want the final score to be 42-35.
42-35. I'm going to go a little more extreme than that. The only experience that my teams have with playing the Patriots would be 1985, which is literally the only argument that Bears fans can possibly use, because they were actually the best in the NFL for a year.
Just 1 year.
Just 1 year. Super Bowl XX.
They did play Indianapolis
in 2006.
They were pretty good.
Yeah, Devin Hester opened up with a kick return, and people were like, "Oh, the Bears are gonna win," and then we got
suddenly Peyton Manning was like, "Hold up,
yeah, we haven't
get
even
on my back."
Anyway, Super Bowl XX, 1985. The Chicago Bears played the New England Patriots, who, by the way, had their throwback uniforms with like the Patriot bent over the football. I think those are sick jerseys. I'll be honest.
I will give them that. I do enjoy those.
The final score was 46-10, Chicago.
Ooh.
So I would like Atlanta to win 45-10, just so they're not as good as the Bears were against the Patriots, but
really close.
But really close and really dominant. So
45-10. You heard it here first.
You
folks.
heard it here first. 45-10. Next up for the Outcast will be hopefully we're trying to record Sunday. Jack Powers isn't going to be in town. He's down at Tribe Fest, bothering all the.
Just in case you're unaware, he's a big Cleveland fan.
Very big Cleveland fan.
I don't know if that comes through at all.
But that will be all for our Super Bowl preview podcast. I'm sure we'll talk about the Super Bowl more on Sunday with some of the other guys. But if we don't have that and we aren't able to podcast until Super Bowl Sunday, then we just want to tell everybody
we're still here.
We're still alive, and we hope you don't become too depressed in the 2-week span of no football, because it's coming. Super Bowl's coming. So thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Like our page on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on iTunes, take a listen on SoundCloud. We appreciate any and all listeners, so thank you.
Follow us on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Follow us on Instagram. Thanks, guys.